Jamie here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. That's Freddy Quinne. Manchester United drawing at St Mary's, 1-1. We went behind. We got the equaliser, but it does feel a little bit deflating. Get involved in the comments. Get involved in the chat. Give us a like. Let us know what you think of the game. What you thought was, what you thought we did well. What you thought we did badly. Whether Ollie got this right. What you got wrong. Who was your man of the match? Let us know what you think about that result. Joe, I'll start with you. Obviously, before the game, we were talking and we said, all three of us said, no matter how the circumstances come about, anything less than a win is going to be disappointing today because Southampton don't have the personnel that we've got, because they have had they've lost the two best players in the summer, and yet we started off okay, and then they got a goal, we got back in it, then when we went to shit again, it just wasn't a good performance by Manchester United.
No, it was weirdly patchy. That was the thing. United started really well. First 10 minutes, I thought they were excellent. First 15 minutes, they were good, making chances, just destroying them from set pieces. 2 or 3 times it looked like we were going to score from set pieces, didn't quite get it over the line. Then we had a spell where Southampton were the better team. And what they did that we didn't do in the first half was when they were the better team, they scored. And it was a lucky goal. It was a fluky goal. For me, it was a foul on Bruno Fernandes. Then the shot itself looked like it was going wide even. And then Fred deflects it in his own net from 20 yards out, right in the corner, like just a really unlucky goal to concede. And then we sort of saw the same thing in the second half. But this time, when United were on top for the first 15 minutes, we did score. And then when they were on top for the last 15 minutes, they didn't. But it was sort of like the mirror image of each other. I thought it was quite an even game overall. I know we'll see the stats in a minute, but I know United had more shots, but we're saying in the second half, they had good chances, Southampton, especially in the second half. Adam Armstrong missing a couple of sitters, one in particular where he's one-on-one with the goalie and basically puts it down the middle, and another header a yard out of the back post that he heads onto his own foot. And if they go in, we've lost. But it's just a really disappointing game after the Leeds game, where you kind of expected to see what we saw today last week, and we blew them away. And then this week you think, right, let's push on from the Leeds game. We know that there's no cobwebs. We started so well last week. And then you see that tired, lethargic first game of the season game. But it's the second game of the season. It's just disappointing because you thought we could push on and really start with 4, 5, 6 wins, really cement ourselves at the top of the league, and already we've dropped a couple of points.
Yeah, 100%. Freddie, what do you make of it? I mean, obviously we've just done the watch along. Already in the chat, and we'll get to the chat in a minute. A lot of talk about Martial. Just on the starting lineup, do you think that's where it went wrong, or do you think that there was other issues there? Because obviously I think a lot of us expected Sancho to start and he didn't.
I said at the watch along before the game, I said I can't see Southampton causing us any problems, and they didn't. We caused our own problems. Yeah. We were the architects of our own downfall. Now, Martial had a very, very poor game, and he's going to rightly come in for quite a lot of stick, I feel, because he needs to step up to the plate more than what he is doing. But there were poor performances from Wan-Bissaka, who was giving the ball away constantly. There were poor performances from Maguire. Matic gave the ball away a lot today. I know Fred is getting in for some stick. He gave the ball away a lot. I didn't think he was that bad personally. We had 5 or 6 players who just did not show up today. And if you have half your team playing sloppy passes every couple of minutes, you ain't going to win a football game. It doesn't matter if it's against Southampton or against Luton Town or against Scarborough. You're not going to win if half of your team just don't turn up to play football. So we can talk for ages about, he started Martial, it's Ole's fault. Well, number one, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't responsible for Martial's attitude, and I don't care how badly you're playing, I don't care how badly you're in form, I don't care how low your confidence is, you can still run around and make an effort and make runs, and we didn't see that from Martial today. Secondly, when he came off, we improved for about 15 minutes, and then we looked shit again. So there's nothing to say. It's not like he made the substitution and from that point onwards till the end of the game, we absolutely bossed it and we were the better team. In that case, you'd go, yeah, maybe Solskjaer made a mistake. Maybe he should have started that from the beginning and we'd have won the match. But towards the end of the game, we were just as shaky, if not more so, than at any point we were during the first half. So I don't buy this whole team selection thing. It's down to individual performances and individual players not turning up today.
We've got quite a lot of super chats. I'll get into them in a minute. Just on the stats side of things, you can see there on your screen, obviously the big one, the score, 1-0. They had 8 shots, we had 15. They had 3 on target, we had 4. Possession, we had 64% possession. Our pass completions, or 79% of our passes was completed. I mean, we not shaded it. When you look at those stats, it does look good, but I'd expect Manchester United, even away from home at Southampton, to be having more shots, to be having more possession, to be attacking more. But in terms of effectiveness, there wasn't a lot of saves I saw their keeper made that I go, whoa, that was a worldie. He saved a couple of headers from corners, but they were at him, they were comfortable ones. And other than that, there wasn't a lot of chances where I thought, we're in here.
No. Do you know what we could have done with today? And, obviously you could always do with a very good striker. Edinson Cavani would have been great today. Because if you think, where were we most dangerous?
Well, he was the difference last season.
He was the difference last season, but we were most dangerous from set pieces today and from crosses. Mason Greenwood had a free header that he headed over. Matic had a header that he headed down and didn't do too badly with, but the goalkeeper saved it comfortably. Paul Pogba headed over. We had the Pogba hitting the bar. You had Martial following up on that and headed it straight at the defender. Our best chances today were aerially, but not like, you've got to beat your man. We had 3 headers today.
Yeah.
And we don't have anyone in that squad. And again, if you're Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood as well, I know he's a young lad, but if you want to be a real top striker, you have to have a well-rounded game. And you have to be able to hit the target from headers. And you have to be able to do that consistently if you want to be a real top... there aren't many... Even someone like, Suarez, who's a shorter player, good in the air. Cristiano Ronaldo, incredible, one of the best we've ever seen in the air. Lukaku's just starting for Chelsea in a minute, good in the air. He's not a great header of the ball, he's not outstanding, but he's good at it. We need players that are well-rounded, that can do a bit of everything. And again, it's like sometimes when the ball comes in and they head it over, you think that wasn't really a chance. If you're a striker that's good in the air, that is a big chance. We had chances today. We should have scored more goals.
But let's be fair. We didn't have enough chances or enough quality of chances to make the argument that we should have won this game. If we won this game 2-1, the title would be let off for Man United. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we
weren't
didn't
good
do enough to win.
No, we weren't. We didn't play well. I'm not saying this was an easy game. I can't believe we haven't won. I just think sometimes we sort of let players get away with headed chances like they're not real chances. Not that I want to be like, you're shit, you missed a chance. I don't mean let off in that sense. I just mean like headed chances throughout the history of football have been a big chance. And those ones 6 yards out, unmarked, we've got to be doing better than that. And that's been a problem until Cavani came in. What was it, 7 headers he scored last season? We could have done with him today.
Right, let me get in some of these super chats because it's just coming thick and fast. I'm missing loads. It's a Duck. Says, we have a great attacking front line, but next to no midfield to get them the ball. Lingard coming on instead of Van der Beek was insane. Or am I wrong? I mean, I'm in the minority here that I'm not as sort of knowledgeable around Donny van der Beek. I think he's done okay for United. I still think we need to see more of him. Yeah. I'm not that surprised that Lingard, who got 9 goals and 6 assists last season, is getting a chance ahead of someone who got 1 goal, I think, last season. Yeah. Luke H says, mid-table clubs, DMs, Phillips, Partey, McGinn, Basuma, Neves, Rice, Højbjerg, etc., all miles better than Fred, needs to be replaced ASAP. Freddie, you didn't share the Fred hatred, did you?
No, and also as well, Fred's job isn't to be a defensive midfielder. He's not playing as a defensive midfielder in a single pivot. If anything, in that team, Matic is the... Is
Fred
the
was pushing up first half an hour, wasn't
so it was more of an 8 today, wasn't it?
So why are we comparing him to all these defensive mids for when he wasn't doing that job today? That's a nonsense.
Anand Makashi says, questions need to be asked now about the total ignorance towards Van der Beek. Did well in pre-season. He throws on Lingard against the low block. Liam Rascola says, we need to be able to rotate. If we can't trust the likes of Martial against relegation fodder like this, then we are nowhere near a title challenge.
I agree that.
We need to talk about Anthony Martial.
Yeah, come on then. I will. If you've got a super chat in, I will get to them. I've got a stack of them, and we'll get to all of them before we wrap up. Martial is a main talking point on socials in our comments for a reason.
Yeah, and what I don't want this to turn into is let's pick all the problems with Martial and just call him shit. But he is going through a terrible run of form that hasn't changed throughout the summer, which is what we all hoped it would. He only had 60 minutes, so let's not say this season's going to be shit from now till May. But you wanted to see more from him. You wanted to see a bit more energy, a bit more intensity. Those runs in behind, some visual cue that he's not allowing himself to play how he did last season, because we cannot have one more season like that if he wants to play for Manchester United. And there was none of those cues. There was, excuse me, one running behind that he did 10 seconds before he got subbed off, where he went, hey, nice run. And what did he do? He runs in behind, and a bobbly touch that goes through to the goalkeeper. That's not enough. And it was, again, unfortunately, he was really, really bad today.
I asked you both before the match, if we got a £50 million bid in for Martial, would you take it? And to be honest with you, I feel like a fool for asking, because that's not a £50 million player. Yeah. It's miles away.
The argument we made is when we said no is because we need options up front. But if he keeps putting performances like that, he's not going to be much of an option.
He's not an option, is he?
What did you think of him, Jay?
Martial, and Freddie, you were saying, well, you can't just use that excuse of confidence, because I think he's lacking confidence. And I get the idea, you have to draw a line under it sometime where you go, like we did with Memphis Depay, like we did with Angel Di Maria. They suffered from confidence problems at Manchester United.
Falcao as well.
Falcao, Lukaku. These are quality players who just, for whatever reason, the shirt was too heavy for him. They just couldn't do it at Manchester United. And sooner or later we went, it ain't happening for you. And you knew when Lukaku left, he'd go and score goals. No one was disputing that. When Di Maria went to Paris Saint-Germain, you knew he'd do well there. Same with Memphis when he went on to Lyon. You knew you'd have success. But I think with Martial now, we're almost getting, I don't think we're there, but you have to ask yourself, has it become too much for him? Has it become a place where he's not ever going to get back to the levels he was? I'm not going to say change my mind after that 60 minutes.
No.
But he can't keep having games like that in the Premier League, because the pressure's on him, because you've got Cavani, because you've got Mason Greenwood, who both want to play in that number 9 position. Liam Muscola, sorry, I was going through a couple of these. We need to be able to, Roscoe 21 says, can we find out Matic's win rate compared to the rest of the team? Might be telling. I'm sure we can look that up. Ross Murphy, the positives in that game, De Gea saved us from that Armstrong shot. Pogba probably our best player, and that draw means we are 27 unbeaten away.
Yep.
We are 27.
Let's mention that then, because it's worth talking about, isn't it? That's the joint most undefeated away games in a row in top flight history.
Right, okay.
That's very impressive. That is good. Obviously we wanted that to be a win, but it's not. And you can say this 10 times, and before you know it, they did cost you the season. But generally speaking, a 1-1 away at Southampton, those games happen in the league season for title winners, for everyone. You don't just win every game, and especially away games. Again, let's not forget, I'm pretty sure, were they at home last week? Or I think this is the first game back for their fans.
They were Everton, weren't they?
So this is their first home game with a full crowd in 18 months. The energy and the excitement around Old Trafford last week, they had that this week. It's a difficult thing to overcome, and they had maybe an extra spring in their step, an extra press that you do get from that, new intensity of all the fans being back. And there are some positives to take. Like I said, we didn't lose. It was a shit game. Playing terribly and not losing isn't a bad trait to have. You just have to play terribly less.
Yeah.
Less often.
How much do you think as well, after the Leeds game, there was a few people chatting to saying, okay, even if we don't sign anyone else, we can still have a crack at it because of the quality we've got. Yeah. Do you think today sort of showed that we are lacking someone, or is that a bit melodramatic in the middle?
No, I think that no one was talking about this when City got beat 1-0 by Spurs.
Good point.
Liverpool have had a good start, but they've played fodder, let's be fair. Chelsea have still yet to play Arsenal, and I mean, even though it looks like a foregone conclusion, that game, you never know what might happen. Yeah. Look, teams are going to drop points. If it was the case that, the minute that one team didn't win and that was the title over, then we'd all go and watch Ligue 1 and watch PSG dominate. Do you know what I mean? We're going to all lose points at some time. Yeah, it's disappointing. It was not a good performance. But if you are somebody who thinks that this means that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is incapable of winning a title, you need to go upstairs and run yourself a bath and have a long soak in the tub and just think about your life, because you're forming silly conclusions here. Yeah. We didn't play well, but on the plus side, 27 unbeaten away, new record. We'll set our own record the next time we play away. Do you know what I mean? And we didn't lose either. Yeah. And do you know what? We could have easily done. We could have easily got
that Adam Armstrong one where he's through 1-on-1 10 yards out, and it wasn't a great shot, to be fair. He didn't find the corner at all. If that goes in, I think we lose that game. Mate, I couldn't see us coming back again the way we were playing.
Give credit to David De Gea. I know you say it wasn't a great shot, but
I'm not knocking it
well, and you save him from 10 yards out, you get I still think.
I still think we're title contenders. Yeah. I still think we're in that 3 or 4 that could all challenge for something this season. I don't think one game defines that. We played badly today, but we'll play well another time, and other teams will play badly. We need to put this into perspective in terms of the long term of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right,
no one was saying City can't win the league when they lost to Tottenham's second team last week.
Let's go into some quotes and let me power through some of these chats because there's loads of them. I need to get into
Let's
them.
see what people are saying.
Mason Greenwood in the comments, in his post-match interviews, in our comments, I wish, says, in my eyes, we dropped 2 points when we got the equaliser. We should have gone for the throats. The time went away and we did not get the winner towards the end. I agree with that, Mason. I think everyone will. It's a Duck says, we have a great attacking front line, but next to no midfield to get them the ball. Ashley Bird says, so Mason's leading the line from now on. Yeah, cool. How many times did a spell of pressure end with a sloppy pass or dithering on the ball? Cough Mike, who's also a member, says, I thought it was Jay up front when I saw that ball dead. I mean, in terms of levels, you're probably not that far wrong. I'm always joking. Michael Reamer says, why did we start in Tony up top? Mason or Cavani? Easy decision. Cavani's not fit for starters. Sancho starting on the right and Matic over Scotty, who's been class. Come on, Ollie. Fergal McClellan, who's done a few super chats today, and we appreciate that. So starting a question, Ollie, when we drop points like this, I love Ollie, but when everyone would agree United on paper are roughly where they should be.
But just to pick up on these points, when they had that team of Mason up front, Sancho on the right, and Scotty in the middle, we still weren't playing well. So what's this idea? Where's this come from? This idea that if we'd have started like that, we'd have won the game. Because second half we played like that and we were fucking dreadful. The period in between the 70th minute till the end of the game was our worst period in the match. And that was when we were playing all those players. So this idea that it's Ole's team selection is nonsense.
Vikram Singh says, totally on top of Southampton, and we sub on an injured McTominay instead of Van der Beek, who's great at finding pockets of space. Lots of face palm emojis. Man United 90 says, learning from this game can be our biggest asset. Players need to be ready for every match. On to the next one. It's a fair comment. Koth Mike says, people would say the same if it was Berber starting this game. We couldn't get the ball through midfield. Hard to blame Martial either, in my opinion.
Honestly,
Jay.
the only comparison between Martial and Berbatov is that they both got a bit of a slow, steady language style. Dimitar Berbatov was Manchester United's top goal scorer. He got 30 goals for Manchester United. Martial's never done that, but Berbatov was I know that they both got that sort of slow, languid, sort of lazy style, if you want to call it that. But that's the only comparison. They're not the same player. They're not the same quality.
For United, a lot of them have been. You look at the game in the derby against City with the 2-0 when Scott McTominay got last goal. It's Martial's pace that gets him, and quickness. You look at the game against Everton, the goal, the one at his debut against Scousers. He's quick. He has that burst of pace. He did it against Southampton today. He got him behind, but his touch let him down. So it's not. I don't buy into this, and I don't understand in terms of his appearance and his body language. But he also has that explosiveness about him that perhaps Berbatov didn't have. And we're just not seeing that. I'm not seeing it attacking that space and giving his defender something to think about. When we saw him sitting down to Virgil van Dijk, he was quick. He's turning, he's twisting, and he's quick. And he just doesn't seem to be doing that anymore.
When you watched Berbatov, though, he would, if he wasn't having a great game, he would drop deep. He would drift out wide. He would make runs. He would try and do different things to get himself in the game. He would do that. He's not somebody, Berbatov wasn't somebody who was physically gifted with pace like Martial is. That's the frustrating thing. And look, I can get behind a player who's playing like shit but runs his arse off and really tries to work his way back into form. That's what I want to see. I want to see a player work their way back into form. And it looks like Martial just isn't prepared to do that. And if you're not prepared to close down, if the ball's up in the air and you're 3 yards away and you can't be asked moving 3 yards to put a bit of pressure on a defender, then you deserve a bit of stick for it, quite frankly. I think you deserve it. I know it's horrible, but how more supportive can we be as fans?
Mohamed Jabbar says, rough game, tough game to lose. Need to have this kind of
or to draw
in the bag. Still hopeful, hopeful for the future. I hope this is a one-off. Ash Wilson, Ollie costing us starting Matic today, joke decision, and Michael Reamer. It's not nonsense, mate. Coming in staggered towards the end of the game against the low block is not the same as starting the game together. Simple as. There's also, I don't just want to do super chats as well. Neo Zach says, Martial needs to be firing so we can actually contend. Abby Nash says Delow should play against this low block team. Sherlock Gnomes says Maguire was dreadful. Just on that front, Maguire's probably his worst game in a long time for Manchester United.
Well, yeah, it was. But really, what the big things he did wrong was one time he got skinned. He didn't actually do that much wrong, did he? He was on the left-hand side.
No. He misplaced so many passes.
There was a few passes that went wrong, and also Adam Armstrong should have won the game.
I'm not saying it wasn't a big mistake,
but put in all this all this focus on building out from the back.
Yeah.
And if you can't build out from the back because your centre backs and your left back and your right back can't pass it properly.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
Then the whole thing falls down.
Also, when I say it's his worst, that doesn't mean he's terrible.
No,
because he's Mr. Consistent.
He's been great, hasn't he?
And I can't remember the last time me and you sat here
he was.
and said he had a bad game.
He was
poor.
He
did today.
He was poor.
Yeah,
and it wasn't his best performance.
Do you know what I find?
It seems to be.
Do you know what I find?
He just looked tired.
Do you know what I find is mental reading these comments is people go, Ole is costing us the title because he started Matic. And you go, oh, wait a minute. Why is it Ole's fault? Why is it not Matic's fault?
Yeah.
At what point is it not the player's fault?
Yeah. Just on that front, though, because, you have to give some responsibility to the manager when you get a poor result. How much of that responsibility do you lay at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's goal for today?
I do think that it did seem somewhat predictable that Martial would play the way he did because he's been playing like that for a year. He's not played a competitive match in 5 months and he hasn't looked good in pre-season. So there's part of me that thinks it could have gone another way. I know Martial, he's played loads of good games for United, so it could have gone the other way. There is part of it that thinks I could have predicted that Martial would play like that, and he did. So there is a little bit
Let me flip this round for you. Let's say Martial plays today, scores a hat-trick. Nobody would go Solskjaer's a genius.
No, I no, they wouldn't, and neither would I.
Go.
No, but but that doesn't mean that one outcome is more likely than the other. I think it was more likely that Martial played like he did today because he's been playing like that for a year than it was for him to score a hat-trick. And presumably as a manager, you're going with what are the odds that this team can win with a game? And I don't think the odds of Martial having a great game today were particularly high.
Let's be fair. One of the biggest criticisms around Solskjaer as a manager, apart from the fact that he doesn't sub early enough, which he did do today, another big criticism was that he doesn't use his whole squad. You look at how many games Bruno played when he needed a rest, right? This is a game to rotate players in. So I think he's fully justified in saying Anthony Martial's part of my squad. We know full well what he's capable of. Here you go out, have a chance and show everybody. Well, now the fact that Martial did not take that chance is not Solskjaer's fault.
No,
and it never will be.
I'm not saying he's an idiot or it's stupid or you should never play Martial again. For instance, I'm not having to go at him for picking Matic for the same reasons. I think you've got a squad here. Let's use it. And Matic wasn't great today, but neither were a lot of players. But I just think Martial in particular, it's such an important position. Mason Greenwood played great in the last game, and I just think maybe you can question that a little bit, but again, it shouldn't have been the difference between winning and losing. There were a lot of players that had bad games today, and Martial was only one of them.
Isaac Hobson says, you guys should do an episode called Red Devil's Advocate where you guys defend unpopular opinions. I appreciate the level-headed rationale you bring. One thing I want to end on.
Yes.
Before we get into, two things. We'll get into the quote that's up there. But I want to talk about Mason Greenwood. This is now 8 goals. I've just done some quick maths. I think I'm right.
I like this.
8 Premier League goals in his last 10 Premier League games.
Fantastic.
On fire at the end of last season. Started off fantastic this season. For me, was good in the first half, even though United weren't. I thought he was always trying to make things happen. And got his goal as well. And it wasn't a sitter.
No.
He's doing well, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Mason Greenwood. I think, there's no sort of question marks. He had a little bit of a difficult spell last season, but end of last season and this season, he's looking good.
We got to give him that. We know what he did last season, and his form sort of fell off a cliff ever since he tried to shag 2 Icelandic girls with Phil Foden. It kind of, but look, at the end of the day,
was it worth it,
mate? If I was an 18-year-old footballer and I was in Iceland, I'd be doing the same thing. But he grew from it. He learned as a player. He went out of the England squad, and now he's sort of working his way back in. And look, he's a young lad. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to dip in and out of form. But I think it's great for him. It shows what a character that he is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I look at other players, not mentioning any names, and something like that would kill their confidence, and they'd be shit for a year and a half.
Yeah. He also had, let's not forget, he had a difficult time. He lost his friend to suicide, I think. He had a difficult spell, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Gareth Southgate, in my opinion, didn't help matters. Putting him in a press conference to ask questions about Harry Maguire and Mykonos.
Yeah, that was
just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Making a massive issue out of the Icelandic thing and carrying it on. But Mason's shown that mental toughness, or however you want to say it, he's had help, whatever the reasons are. I don't want to get into too deep. But he's come back, he's looking the Mason Greenwood we saw when he burst onto the scene and what we've seen in the academy.
I think he like you said, he ended the season really well, and he was one of those people that was getting, when we need a goal, he gets the goal. When we need it, because Rashford, for the first 3 quarters of the season was that, but as the injuries sort of took the toll on him, he wasn't doing that anymore. Rashford wasn't filling that role of Mr. Reliable, and Mason took that role, and that's a great role to have. And again, to start the season with 2 goals, proving himself as a striker, looking forward to the next game now. He's the first name on the team sheet for me.
He is so clinical.
Yeah,
up front.
it's ridiculous.
He's such a clear. He had 1.5 chances, and he scored 1 goal.
Great,
because that cross from Fred was a little bit high, and he had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at him and he makes runs, he makes an effort, he tries to get himself involved and impact the game. It's fine for me.
Just going to get into the quotes and then the comments, and then we'll wrap up. I go back to the 2 lads. This is Roy Keane, sorry. You see it on the screen, I think. Go back to the 2 lads in the middle of the park. Not enough creativity, not enough quality. United will be disappointed with the draw. Well, let's give credit to Southampton. I think that's a fair point as well. We always just dismiss the team, don't we? That we drop points again and just go, they're shit and we should have done better. Joseph Deeks, who's been a member for 3 months, has said, I don't think Matic played that bad. Fading in the last stages. I just think Martial can't play as a number 9 with his back to goal. Josh Pack says, thoughts on 4-3-3. Varane comes in, McSaul, CDM, Bruno van der Beek in front, Pogba, Greenwood, Sancho up front, free roam position. I just don't think we've got the personnel at the minute. Maybe that's something for the future.
Don't think as well McTominay can play in a single pivot.
No. United Forever podcast says, apart from Ollie achieving another milestone, another positive is that I've been reunited with my parents after 2 years, and Dad sends his love sends Paddock his love. Yeah, great to hear that.
Good stuff.
Ash Wilson, says, I back Ollie, but he's very confused about players. James, Matic and Lindelof will never be good enough, but he keeps using them regular. It's insane. And finally, Burgess Chichira says, we should seriously talk about our captain. He can't seem to motivate himself, much less the team, when they are down. What is he doing if he can't do that? I said he wasn't great today, but I'm not going to say that there's an issue with Harry Maguire, because there ain't. Just as well, Yash, I think I missed this. We missed Rashford today. His link-up play with Shaw Pogba is what helped us break low blocks. McTominay, Matic midfield in the last 20 minutes was very poor. Right. I think they ran out of steam. I think that's it for everyone in the chats. We appreciate that. Freddy, we appreciate you coming on as well. Where can people find you?
You can find me youtube.com/Freddy Quinne Comedy. And you can also check out my podcast, Pigoted. It's comedians chatting to experts. And we are on Spotify, iTunes, and on YouTube. Just search for Pigoted and you will find us.
Make sure you check it out. Very, very funny. Joe, not well, so where can people find you? But me and you are bossing some.
Found this merch, Fernandez.
Nice stuff there. Where can people
Link
get
is
that?
In the comments for that. Our merch store. So click that and check it out.
And is Premier League Piss back tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be some good shit on this evening's game, Arsenal-Chelsea.
We'll also have the fan cams as well later on as well, so make sure to check it out. I'll be outside Old Trafford for the news in the morning. That's been Freddy Quinne. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the live review. Manchester United dropping points at St Mary's, but 27 unbeaten, and that's what matters. See you later.